Hello everyone, welcome to the next chapter, that is software concept, chapter number 4. Chapter number 3, that is data representation, we will be dealing it later. So first let us finish the theoretical concept. So in the next chapter, that is chapter number 4, software concepts, we will be discussing the introduction part, what is programming and how the programming languages are classified and how they are implemented and how the software is being built or made to work on the computer system. So in the today's class, in the chapter number 4, we'll have a look on the introduction. So first of all, we'll be introducing you to the concept of programming languages. Now all of you know that the computer or any electronic device to work, they require certain operations to be performed, they require certain programming that need to be implemented. The programming is the heart of the every electronic system that you use it. Let us consider the electronic system that you use a laptop or a desktop, that is a computer system, or it can be a handheld devices just like smartphones you have, etc. So all these gadgets or electronic devices use certain programming or coding, we will call. So programming language basically is nothing but the set of rules. We need to follow certain rules while we are dealing with the programming language. That rules we will call it as syntax. Now considering the example of a language, now we are communicating in a language, we are following certain rule. Okay, if there is no rule between you and me in the communication medium, somebody will speak in Malayalam, somebody will speak in Telugu, someone will speak in Kannada, and someone will speak in English. Okay, if I repeat one concept in Malayalam, one concept in Hindi, one concept in Kannada and English, so on. So will it be a rule for communication? No, we are not following or violating the rules for communication. So in the same way, the program need to communicate with the system, or when we want to communicate with the system, we need to follow certain rules. That rules are called as the syntax. Just like you follow the rules in the English while writing the grammar. So rules over here are being built where user has to follow this, such is called as a syntax, to instruct the computer what operation the computer has to perform and how it has to perform the operation. So all these things are made with the user possible. Coming to the next concept, we do have classification of programming languages. That is, programming language is classified into two different kinds. The one is the low level language, the another one is the high level language. The low level language is the language which machine can understand. So we have machine level languages under the low level language, assembly level language under the low level language. So we'll go in depth about this machine level and assembly level, how they will look like. Under the high level languages, we have the general purpose languages such like BASICs, Pascal, C language, etc. Under the specific purpose languages which are built for only one purpose like COBOL, Fortran, C++. So COBOL was basically made for the ATM machines, just for your knowledge sake. So general purpose are not built for any specific purpose, but specific purpose languages are built for only that intended job. They cannot be used for other purpose, or they build and design for that only purpose. Coming to the first kind of low level language, we have the machine level language under the classification. So machine level language is the fundamental language of a computer because computer understands the binary numbers, what we'll call it as zeros and ones. That is, the machine level language should be written by using the binary numbers, that is zeros and ones. Now it is very hard for us, that is humans, to remember the codes to communicate with the computer in terms of binary. How many codes can we remember? At the max 50, at the max 100 codes. But the computer needs to be instructed, like how we are opening a YouTube account and clicking on the link, okay, opening a WhatsApp, texting, all those things. You want to do it, you have to do it in the terms of binary. So everything you need to remember the numbers for it in terms of binary. Suppose if I say to open the YouTube and play a video, you require 3 codes. The 3 codes are, the first code is 11001010. The next code is 11011101. The next code is 000110101. How many of you can remember all these 3 codes at a stretch? Okay, you need to by heart these codes, okay, for doing certain tasks. It's an example what I have given you. So binary codes are not very much flexible, or binary numbers, that is zeros and ones, are not very flexible, but they are faster in the execution because computer understands this language. Now if I am talking in a language which you don't understand, you require some time, you require somebody to translate it or convert the language what I am talking into your understandable format. So that takes certain time, or time is been consumed. That means the listener, that is the translator, has to listen to the code, then it has to be translated into your language. So it takes time, but whereas if you understand the language what I am speaking, it becomes very easier for us to understand and perform the jobs. So that's what the computer will understand, that is the machine level language, that is language of zeros and ones. So the programs that are written in the machine level language are called as the machine codes. Okay, machine level language is made up of binary numbers or bits, zeros and ones. So the instructions that are provided in the machine level language in terms of machine code are directly understood by the computer and converted into electrical signals to run on the computer. Okay, directly understood by the computer. No need of making a third person or a third party or a software or third party software to be installed for conversion. Okay, so that's directly understood, makes the program run faster and work at a efficient way. Every language when you talk, or every technology you talk in terms of computer which is existing till now, has certain advantages and disadvantages. So everything that you take around has certain advantages and disadvantages. Let us talk about the different advantages and disadvantages that we have in the machine level language, that is machine code. Advantages are, it can be directly typed and executed. No compilation or translation is required. Nobody is required to translate because the computer will understand the machine code directly, that is zeros and ones, because it works on digital signals or binary codes. So directly executed and no translation is required is the advantage of the machine level language. The next is the disadvantage. As I told you, everything has certain advantages and disadvantages. The disadvantage of machine level language or machine codes are, these instructions which are written in the machine code are dependent. Dependent on whom? Dependent on machine. So they are machine dependent. For example, you have a mobile phone which is made by a company Apple. and you have a mobile phone that is made by a company called Oppo, and a mobile phone which is made by OnePlus. Now, all these three mobile phones work on a different operating system. The Apple runs on the iOS, the Oppo runs on the Android, the OnePlus runs on Oxygen OS. So different kinds. So you need to instruct the mobile phones here in terms of binary. They are different codes. For one is for iOS, one is for Android, one is for Oxygen OS. Different codes. Okay, there will be no similar codes for all these mobile phones. So machines to machine, one computer to the another computer, the instructions codes are going to change. So that we call it as these instructions are machine dependent. Okay, the Dell company will provide different hardware, the Lenovo company provides different hardware or different kind of platform. What we call platform is a combination of hardware and the software. So depending upon the platform, the instructions which are given for the machine will be different. So in machine level language, the instructions should be different from one to the other, so they are machine dependent, and it will be a very much difficult task for the programmer to create, to modify, and to debug the errors. Creating is a process of writing the code for performing some operation. Modification is making certain changes to the existing code or existing written software or a program. The debugging is the process of removing the bugs. Okay, we have heard about this bug in the chapter number 1, that is overview of computers. So debugging is the process of removing the errors. Okay, so debugging is the removing of the errors, identifying first the errors whatever are present in the program and then removing the errors from the program is called as the debug. Okay, the next kind of language that we have under low level language is the assembly level language. Now this is not the same as the machine code or machine level language. The assembly level language is somewhere intermediate between the high level language and the low level language. Okay, instead of using binary, we are using some operation codes, okay, or instructions code. So instruction OP code. OP code stands for operation codes. You can see in the table. So let us first jump into the introduction of assembly level language. So assembly level language is the kind of low level language as in classified in the classification. This programming language allows the user to write the programs by using certain letters that are already defined in the table, certain words that are already there, and certain symbols which are already present. Now such table which consists of predefined or pre-written words, letters and symbols, we will call them as mnemonics. M is silent. Okay, mnemonics. So these mnemonics, instead of using the binary code, they will use the mnemonics for the assembly level language. So that is, instead of using zeros and ones, I will use some instruction OP codes, okay, or assembly level mnemonics for communicating or for programming with the computer. So this is not in terms of machine level, but here the translator is required. We'll talk about the translator. Let us jump into the mnemonics and see what mnemonics is standing for. So stop, when you write in capital STOP, stop, that means stop execution. Execution is a process of running the program, making the program to work. Okay, stop running the program, stop these things. Okay, when you want to make the computer to stop certain instructions or the program, you will write a mnemonic code called stop. Now when you have a mnemonic instruction called add, when you are writing the OP code 1 added with OP code 1 and 2. The result is stored under OP1. OP1 is the operator 1. So both the operators are being added. OP1 and OP2 are added and stored under the same OP1. Subtract, similarly, multiplication. Okay, move R stands for CPU register memory operation. Move the register, move to the register, move the memory to the register. So certain codes we have over here, these codes we should remember while communicating with the computer, while writing the instructions to make the computer to work. These are called as the mnemonic codes. So mnemonic codes are a way better than the binary codes to be remembered. Okay, instead of remembering the binary code for add 1101101101, you can just remember the word called add. Okay, ADD. It's good. So they have overcome with the challenges that was been faced by the machine level language and made the programming with the computers easier with the mnemonics. Now this is also certain consisting of certain difficulty levels. Okay, we will talk about difficulty levels later. So a program that is written in the assembly level language is called as the assembly code. Now the program which was written in machine level language was called as machine code. Now here the program which is written in the assembly level language is called as the assembly code. So the translator program is required which is going to translate the assembly code into the machine code, because the computer is going to understand only binary digits, that is zeros and ones. Now in the assembly code we are not writing the instructions or the programs in terms of zeros and ones. What we are using? We are using mnemonic codes. These all mnemonic codes. These all mnemonic codes, when I write it and create a file, for that I will call it as assembly code, or a program written in assembly level language is called as an assembly code. Okay, so all the programs that we write in any language, we will consider them as the source code or source text file. The source code in the assembly level language is called as the assembly code. So assembly code or the source text file written in the assembly level language requires a translator. This translator job is to convert the mnemonics which are written in the assembly code into the binary code. This is a translator. So we'll talk about the translator in depth in the later sessions, but for time being you understand, to translate the assembly level language or assembly code into machine understandable format or to the machine code, we require a translator. That translator is called as an assembler. So the translator program that converts an assembly code into machine code is called as an assembler. So it's basically an translator or a converter which converts the assembly code into the binary codes. Okay, what is understood by the machine. Now talking about the advantages and the disadvantages of assembly level language, we have first advantages. So the mnemonics that are written or mnemonic codes that are written are easy to remember than that of the binary codes. Okay, we are comparing the one language with another language. So easy to understand also, it is easy to modify also, and debugging is also little bit easier than that of the binary language or the machine code. The disadvantages are the language that we are using over here, that is assembly code, is built out of a mnemonics, and these mnemonics are also machine dependent. That means it depends on one system to the another system what mnemonic codes I need to use. Now we took the example of 3 mobile phones. Okay, one is the Apple phone, Oppo, and the 1 plus 1. So similarly over here also the mnemonic codes for these 3 mobile phones will vary. So it is dependent upon the machine, on which machine you are writing the code. So directly depends on the machine. Okay, so that makes it disadvantageous. It's not independent. It cannot be created for everyone. It has to be created for a specific or particular platform only. So the assembly level language or a program written in assembly level language, okay, takes a longer for the coders, okay, for coding. So coding takes it longer duration for the assembly level language programmer to create the instructions for the computer, because it needs to be written in mnemonic codes instead of the binary code, and the process of compilation, that is translation, is also required more, because assembler needs to translate the source code file into the binary code or into the machine code that we have seen in this diagram. Okay, that's about the assembly level language. In the next class, we will be moving to the next category of programming language, that is high level programming language or high level language. Thank you.